This is the application for the eufy security SoloCam S40. Here you can see a little snippet of what the live feed was, and we're going to talk about the icons that you see really quick. Over here in the upper right hand corner, this is actually an icon for the battery status, and it'll let you know how much battery it has. Down here you have a square box with a number that will indicate how many clips you have saved to the S40 based on motion detection. Over here, this is another icon letting you know the battery status, but also letting you know it's charging. Here we have a Wi-Fi indicator and then a daylight indicator because, well, this is a solar powered outdoor camera. If we come down to the right hand corner and select the three dots, we have two options. We have our settings and our snooze. Selecting snooze will allow you to snooze notifications for a set amount of time, either 30 minutes at the minimum or up to 12 hours. We'll get into our actual settings in a moment, but I want to bring you back to our live feed and press the play button in the middle. That activates our live feed. And here, this is a live feed of what I currently have outside. A lot of dead grass because it's been very hot. Double tapping anywhere in your image will allow you to zoom in. And as you can see, that 2K resolution does come into play. You can see very well how far away the camera is from that little wishing well and then how close we can get. In the upper right hand corner here, selecting this will actually allow us to change the aspect so that it automatically kind of tilts it into a full screen mode. And then we can see we have our icons that were actually on the bottom here, clearly visible and accessible even in full screen mode. Here, this is the light. If I tap that on, if this was nighttime, the lights would come on and you could see it lighting up. I'll insert a clip of what that looks like here. Over here, we have our network connection stability right there, letting you know, hey, it's connected. This is how much speed you have going back and forth. Right here, we have our record button. Selecting this will allow you to record a live feed of what's going on. Keep in mind, only clips are saved in the 2K resolution, so this would just be HD. You have your snippet tool, which is pretty much their version of a screenshot. Take a singular screenshot of what's going on. Right here, holding to speak. If I do this right now, the speaker outside is actively going and the birds and squirrels that are around probably wondering what's going on. Right here, you saw me toggle that off. That's actually the mute, so I don't want to hear what's going on outside. I simply touch that and it will mute what's going on. Over here, this icon right here is actually for more stuff. It's a little different than eufy's done in the past for some of their other devices where you had to drag up to get extra stuff. This kind of pops it out. And notice it doesn't scroll it across, it almost like unfolds it so that you see it. Right here, we have our notifications area. That's our events. But as you see, selecting that will not allow me to go back to where I was. I wish they would kind of work on that. So we have to come back in here, load it up, come back here. This is our automatic night cycle toggle. So right now we can do black and white night vision, which will use the IR lights, or right now I have colored night vision, which uses the floodlight when it senses motion, or I can turn that off completely. Here we have a siren, so selecting that will allow a siren to be set off outside. So I have sound only, I have lights only, or I have sound and light. So doing this means either it will blare a siren sound like this, or it will flash lights, sets it off, and you can see red icon and lets you know how long it'll last. You can select the X right there to turn it off faster so you don't subject your neighbors and the woodland creatures to that noise. And then right there we have our settings. So that's another location that you can access your settings. So you can access it from the front page here by selecting the three dots and the settings icon right there, or from your active live feed by coming to the expanded area and then selecting our settings. Right here we have pretty much how you control this device. You have your on-off switch up here, so selecting this will turn off the camera, meaning it will no longer actively have an active feed, it won't get motion notifications, it won't take any clips. You can see over here in the left-hand corner, green sunshine, as well as a battery indicator. So the battery indicator with the lightning bolt and being green lets you know that it is being charged. And then the sun icon also has a little bar, a little hard to see, but that lets you know the actual amount of sunlight hitting the solar cell there. Now I've tested the solar cell in 2 different locations, one being in full sun all the time, and its current location is actually under a tree which only gets partial sun. And I will say, even with getting only partial sun throughout the day, as long as you don't have a lot of motion triggers, the battery within this actually stays charged reasonably well. Speaking of our solar charge, we're going to start over here on the right, which is our dashboard. Now, they kind of say that this is all like beta, but this is a way that you can keep track of the actual electrical usage and solar charging of your device. Right here, this is a 7-day. You can see I had a little dip because I had a couple cloudy days and then the sun came and picked it right back up. If I go to a 30-day, you can see a dip where I was doing some testing and had cloudier days, but it will go right back up. In fact, they highly recommend that you charge the S40 right out of the box. I didn't do that. I just took it at its 50% charge, slapped it down, let the sun get it, and within 2 days, it was fully charged and I didn't have to worry. Down here, we have our solar charge efficiency. So these numbers will let you know how much solar power is actually being brought into the device. Now, here's the thing. If your battery is completely topped off, you're gonna see these really low numbers, like today, only 28, because the battery's already topped off. These days here, the 433 and the 454 were me doing tests and it needing to be charged up because of less than optimal sky conditions. So don't expect your graph to always be super high because your battery's charging all the time. It only charges when there's battery that needs to actually be charged. And then down here we have our green energy. This is a neat little thing. You're not going to start off with a tree icon like that. You're going to start off with a twig. And that's partially because your total solar charge efficiency and your total time charging, again, is only if your battery is depleted. If you are staying and maintaining the battery levels at a constant state and they're not being used, this number and this number won't change. You actually need the battery to be depleted and then charge again. I will say that I've had this for several months, about 4 months now, and it just left it outside, and I have not had to charge it once, and I have also not seen it dip below probably 80% after my first initial charge. So that's all of our eco-friendly solar stuff over here in the dashboards. Over here on the left, we have motion detection. So this is if you want to get notifications based on motion. You have to have a switch toggled on, letting you know, hey, yes, I'm going to have motion detection. You have an active zone. What this will allow you to do is, if we come over, there's a faint blue line right there, and that blue line lets it know this is where I actually care about if there's motion. You can also have more than one, and here you see this is adding a secondary level. I like the fact that it's like this octagon shape because it kind of lets you get some weird shapes based on the unique design. So what we're going to do is we're just going to select delete. That gets rid of the green one, and we can always edit one. So if I select edit, there's my blue one. I'm just going to say yes, it's fine, don't mess with it, and then select back. So if you have a specific zone that you want to do, that's how you do it. And then here we have our detection sensitivity. I have it on 4. It's done pretty good. If you need to, in a lower traffic situation, you can move that all the way up to 7. You have the option of selecting only if humans will it notify you, or all motion. So I had a habit of actually leaves falling, a squirrel or a bird kind of popping up in front of it, so I was trying humans, but I wanted to get the animals too, so I had to do the all motion. You have your motion test mode, which will allow you to actually test your detection. So right here, the camera will flash red when motion is detected, so you can kind of walk and figure out how far it is actually detecting out to. So that's a nice feature that is in there. And then down here, you have your installation tips, like how should I actually have this set up? Because this is a PIR-based motion sensor, it likes a slightly more downward angle. Moving on, we have spotlight settings. Right here, we have our brightness level. Well, at the top, we have our do you want to use it or don't you want to use it? We have our brightness, so from 1 to 100%. And then, yes, you can even control the color temperature. So if you want a warmer color as it shines out, or do you want a cooler, brighter temperature? So depending on what you want, you actually have a toggle control for that. So that's really cool. Moving over to our night vision. As we discussed before, you have the option for black and white night vision. That will be a black and white image that uses the IR lights as a means of showing you what's going on. Color night vision will have the color show up, but it will use the spotlight in order to illuminate what's going on. And then you can turn it off entirely, meaning you don't care. It'd be a little harder to see things that way, but you have an option. It does have, you can turn off everything, meaning the IR lights and the spotlight. It does have the ability to have colored night vision, but you do need a little bit of light for that to work. So if you're in a completely dark area, that probably won't work out as well as you'd like. Moving on, we have our video settings. Selecting that, we can watermark it with the eufy security logo. You have your stream quality. I have it currently set to auto, but you can have it if you have it close enough to your home. You can have the high data stream, medium data stream, or the low data stream, depending on what you need. Record quality, I have it set for the maximum of 2K. If you need to save space because you have a lot of triggers, you can always select the full HD, which is still going to be 1080 and pretty good, but you got this because of those 2K clips. Just to prove that eufy continues to improve on their products even after they've been out for a while, notice here under video settings, privacy zones. This was not here originally. Selecting privacy zones will allow you to select a location on your screen, you can see right here, that will not be visible to the camera for recording or when you look through the camera itself. You can have up to 2 privacy zones. So here we're going to add another privacy zone, and it starts off as this big black chunk. And there you go. So let's say I don't want to see that. I hit OK, and now I have 2 privacy zones, one up here for my windows and then one over here. And if I select back and we come back to our live feed, you see 2 blacked out spaces. So proof yet again that eufy continues to update even after a product's been released. And then to take away one, simply tap, edit, select which one you want, and then delete. Or you can tap and then resize. Here we have our audio settings. Again, do you want to have the microphone on? Do you want to record audio when it actually is recording? Speaker, do you want the speaker on? Do you want the volume to be low, medium, or high? I have found that even at the medium setting, it is clearly audible and not too garbly, which is great. Notifications coming in here, we have most efficient. So that's pretty much you get it, no delay, text only. Full effect is you get the text notification, then a thumbnail after, depending on how quickly it can generate that thumbnail. And then included thumbnail is you get the full notification. However, that will delay it a little bit. So if you need to see what's going on, you select this one. If you just want to know something's going on, select that and then open up your camera. Here we have our app alert tones. We have motion alert by default. We have a few different choices, so you can always select something that works best for you. And then switching notifications, which will allow you to adjust your push notifications based on switch mode by a schedule or switch modes from an app. I don't think you really need to play with that because that's a security thing. Plays into some of their other tools that they have aside from this particular security camera. Next we have general. We've got the name. Selecting that will allow you to change the name. You have your LED status light that's on the front of the device. You have your Wi-Fi connectivity. You've got your power manager. Selecting power manager, right here we can see 100% charge. You can select optimal battery life. Meeting video clips will be only 20 seconds in length because it's trying to preserve your battery. You have optimal surveillance where video clips can be up to 60 seconds. The system will attempt to record each and every event. And then you have your customized recording. So let's say you want to customize how long that video length is or the triggering duration. Well, that's how you can do it by simply selecting that pencil icon right there. So here you go, clip length and then interval between triggers, anything from 5 seconds, 60 seconds. And then the option to end clip early if there is no more motion detected. So that's our power management. Time settings, it will set automatically when you log into your application. Storage, selecting this. Local storage, keep in mind the S40 does not use the home base. And then here you can see I have 6 gigabytes used of my 7.3 gigabyte. I can format this and it will erase it completely, or I can select clear, which will clear the clips that are currently on it. It will override over clips, so you don't run out of storage. It will just always override the oldest clips. So make sure to download them beforehand if you want them. Mounting guides, as you might expect, is about mounting. And then about this device, a lot of sensitive information in there. Not going to show you that. So that was general. We have share device, which will allow you to share this particular device with other members of your family or anybody who has the eufy application. You would just have to pass that along to them. They again need the application on their phone, so they do need their own eufy account. We have tutorials, which will bring you into a whole bunch of tutorials specifically for the S40. So if there's something that I forgot to cover in this, it can be found in these tutorials. And then share your thoughts. As you might imagine, share your thoughts with eufy about this particular product. And now I'm going to select back, which brings me back here instead of back into the device. I kind of wish that they would let you get back into the device because I want to be in this view as much as possible. But since we're back here, down here we have our devices. That's where we currently on, a listing of all of our devices. Here we have events. And then right there you can see backyard alarm was triggered by me. It shows up here in the events. You can select up here filters. I have several different cameras, but you can select which one you want. Right now I am just showing the backyard. I can again filter, so if I want to select all things I can do that from here. And then if we want to find some videos, we can come up here to our calendar, and then you'll see there's dots. These dots indicate where things have actually happened. So if I come here, you can see human was detected, and if I select that, it actually shows you me walking through my backyard and the grass when it wasn't completely dried out. So that's where you come to find your events. Now, if you notice, when I clicked on an event, down here I have the option to download this event, share this event, donate this event, or delete it. So deleting removes a clip from the camera. Donation gives that clip over to Eufy so that they can use it to help train their AI smarts, because again, no subscription needed for the person detection. Sharing will allow you to share that to another person by downloading it to your device and then giving you a clickable link, and then downloads it to your device. I always like with Eufy products how here's the big screen of what's going on. They don't have a target box around what triggered it. However, right here, I'm going to use this one, they do have an image of what triggered it. So you can zoom in on that and go, oh, okay, that's what set this off. So if it was an animal or a person, you've got a screenshot right there of what set it off. So that's always been a feature that I really appreciated from Eufy. And then we're gonna go back because those were our events. Down here we have security. We have our backyard. Notice these are all listed as home. Selecting that will allow you to set up specific triggers to disarm and arm your camera array. So if this is your only Eufy product, probably not going to be using the security option all that much. And then explore, well, this is gonna tell you any deals that they happen to have going on for any of their products. So this has been a look at the application for the Eufy SoloCam S40. There you saw, there's a lot that the application has that makes this camera